Here we are then, back with your regular scheduled content as we are back with another career mode episode here today for the McLaren Road to Glory. This one is round 6, Imola, the first of 2 Italian Grand Prix this season, and we arrive here on a massive high. If you haven't seen the last episode, go check it out. Link in the top right. The response to that video was incredible. You guys loved it and loved the race. Big spoilers ahead, so check it out. 3, 2, 1, right. We arrive at Imola with a trophy in the cabinet, specifically the race winners trophy, as we picked up a shock win in Miami last time out, and we are here to hopefully now kickstart our season. We had a big result that's going to be a nice morale boost and give us a bit of confidence, but let's see if we can carry that forward, or will it be basically reverting back to old habits and back to normality this race. For now, you see we purchased 3 upgrades in the background, which will be on the car for the next race. This weekend we have rain forecasting qualifying at the very end that could potentially arrive. And as for updates, we have 3 updates on the car this weekend, but only one of them is for performance for the ERS. The other 2 are for reliability, which we do have to do at some point because we took our first engine in Baku in round 4, and there's 23 rounds, so the math automatically doesn't add up, and we're going to have to basically, get those engine pens sorted out because they're arriving, which could be a surprise. Anyway, here is the performance chart. Red Bull with a huge package along with Alfa Romeo. That race win last time out was our first points finish, first podium, first everything. We'd had a horrible first 4 races up until this point. And yeah, we're back here at Imola with intentions to hopefully have a stronger weekend than what we've normally had up until this point, Miami aside. So, practice, very smooth. Car felt fantastic. I went pretty high on the aero to give myself lots of grip in the corners and the kind of high speed sections, and it worked pretty well. Tyre wear was fair, fuel consumption very low, and car feels great. We've got over 2,500 points saved up pretty much, and we also got, once again, a big batch of discounts, which I will tweak the R&D points generation soon if I feel like we're making too much progress, but based off the upgrades from other teams this weekend, I think we're doing okay, so I'm going to keep it as is for now, but we may make things harder in Season 2, or maybe even halfway through the season at the season break. Who knows? For now, we're going to keep things as they are, especially because I don't have setups right now, so I'm still using the baseline with just basically modifications that I choose to make on wings, brake bias, tyre pressure, and all that stuff. So yeah, here we are, Q1 time. Stroll ahead of us on our first kind of banker lap, baseline, trying to understand where the car really is. This is our first proper lap in anger on soft tyres, low fuel, trying to see where, we kind of are looking at in terms of position. And we have fuel as always for 2 laps, so this is going to be lap 1, and we'll see where this puts us as we open the RS across the line. And there's going to be a 1:15.5 and P9 ahead of Albon Sonoda, behind Magnussen Zhou as we let Stroll through as he starts his lap. And we now head on to our second attempt. We had a cool-off lap, and you can see we're up by 1/10.5. We was up by as much as 2/10 on this lap. However, we just cut the first part of the chicane a little bit too much and just getting a bit too aggressive there. And unfortunately, that's going to be the end of our first runs. We went back to the garage, and we're sitting in P14 right now. Hulkenberg on the cutoff. Sainz in the drop zone, so he'll likely probably get out. And we're not safe by even a 10th, so we're going to have to go back out and try to improve. So 2 minutes to go. I've given myself time so that if this first lap doesn't work, we can always go for a second lap if we need it, just to be sure. Anyway, hopefully we don't need it and we can get the job done on this first lap. So down to turn number 1. 4th, 5th gear, I'm trying to decide what works best. I think 4th is slightly better for turning, but you get the traction in 5th gear. Could have taken a bit more inside curb and we actually bottom out. So straight away, we're going to put this lap in the bin, keep things nice and cool, and go again. We're going to be the last car to start our lap, so now we can't afford any do-overs. This is it, no mistakes, the lap has to count. So again, the first chicane, we'll go for 4th gear to turn in, sacrifice the left to try and open the right and get the better drive. So this time you'll see we take a much tighter line, short shift to 5th, and this time get the drive out of there as we find time on our previous personal best. Into the Villeneuve chicane at the 50, turn in, little downshift, and then another couple of downshifts into the right. power down on the curb as we head into the Tosa hairpin, going in a bit deep to kind of get a later apex and square the corner off and get a better exit. I did run a bit wide though, a bit of understeer, didn't quite get tight to the apex, so it wasn't as much time gain as I hoped. Turn 9, Piratella, 5th gear, quickly up to 6th as we get the drive down the hill into Aqua Minerale. Straight line brake, 4th gear, use all the curb, and we just keep it in track limits there. I had to take a little bit of a lift, so we lost a bit on the delta to keep it on the white line. And now over the chicane, we fly over in 3rd gear, short shift to 4th, and that found us a bit of time. And currently P18, so we need this lap to improve. There's a bit of time to find here though in the final 2 corners. Brake at the 50, 3rd gear, little bit wide, but we keep it in track limits, and then stay off the sausage curbs as we use all the track available, and we're going to improve by half a second.
Okay, there's 2 minutes left in this session.
And we make it into Q2, P12, and we made it pretty comfortably by a few tenths, which is quite refreshing. Lando in the top 5. Insane. So again, the upgrades are working, the car's getting stronger, both cars in the top 12, albeit we was half a second away from Lando, but still progress being made, and yet again Q2 for us, which is a good sign of positive progress. As for Q2, rain inbound, arriving sooner than expected, so pretty much I just quickly double checked my setup, made sure we had the right tyres on, and we got onto the track straight away. Now this is my last fresh set of tyres left, so we have to make this lap count. I've got no fuel for extra laps, so this is pretty much it. We have to nail it on one take. Down to the first chicane then. 4th gear, shift to 5th, over the curbs, pretty smooth, maybe a little bit safe. Villeneuve chicane, 50 metre board again, downshift on the way in, and open the right to get that drive out of there as we then head into the hairpin, this time keeping it much tighter and much cleaner. This track is very much slow in, fast out. You sacrifice your entry a bit to make sure the exits are on point pretty much throughout the lap. Turn 9, I turned in a bit too early there and I clipped the sausage curb. Balance of the car wasn't quite settled and I didn't really nail it through there. Aqua Minerale, spot on, this time within track limits beautifully and really nailing the exit. Chicane, brake at the 50, hop over the curbs, way more aggressive than our last lap in Q1. That was absolutely perfect. And now into the final 2 corners, the 2 advances. Brake at the 50 or just before for this one, down to 4th or 3rd gear depending on your preference. Short shift to 4th though on the exit, and then possibly 5th through the second one as we run it right up into the white line and the gravel. DRS open across the start finish, and it's a 1:14.8, which is okay. I thought there was a bit more time to find, but I couldn't quite nail the lap on one take. But right now we're P10 and everyone has set their laps and rain has started. You can see the weather right now is rain and nobody else went out. So for the first time this season, we're into Q3. We've done it. We've just scraped in with a 1:14.8, which to be fair is 2 tenths quicker than our Q1 lap. It's not, incredible, but it's good enough. It will do. And very happy with the fact that we, delivered on one lap. That final sector was the money maker. That was perfect. We nailed the chicane and the final 2 corners better than Q1, and that's where the time was made up. So yeah, Q3, the rain continued and it got heavier and heavier and heavier. Now the forecast said the rain would stay consistent more or less for Q3. However, it turns out it was only going to get heavier. So our first lap is P9 and you can see there's 6 minutes to go because I've already gone out too late. I didn't realise at the time, it only hit me on my second run, but basically we should have gone out straight away. I thought the rain was going to stay consistent all the way through, that's what the original forecast said, but again I've got it on approximate, not perfect, so the rain actually got heavier and yeah, it caught me out. I'm also not used to how this game works in the wet fully yet, as we invalidate on our second lap, and that was the first sign where I felt like we was losing a bit of grip. Still, I went back out, I tried it, none of the AR went out, which is always a bit of a bad sign, and visibly the track looks wetter. It still enters, but the rain is falling at a pretty heavy rate, so
the rain's easing off a bit, but the track is still going to be wet for a while, be careful. Inters and wets will probably have very similar pace at the moment.
We got the update, and I thought to myself, okay, let's just stay on track and see if maybe the track improves. And I tried to basically delay this last lap until the very last minute, but yeah, it's just too wet, too much rain, and it just wasn't going to happen. So yeah, we just gave up. no chance of improving. So yeah, qualifying done for us. A shame we got into Q3 but didn't really maximise the conditions. Same goes for Lando. He went out very late. He was the last car to finish a lap on the first run and got caught out by the conditions. So yeah, we just missed the cutoff really. I wasn't expecting the rain to, be at its lightest at the beginning. That wasn't the original forecast. And we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. So double Q3 and we out-qualified Lando, but it's not fully optimal. And, I was a bit concerned my pace wasn't great in the wet, but then I kind of realised on reflection that it was more the conditions rather than the car itself. So, yeah, guys, Carlos Sainz on pole, Checo second, the top two in a different postcode, which tells you they got their lap in pretty early. The others were a bit later. But yeah, qualifying done, and even still, it's Q3, we're starting P9, and who knows, could be higher if there's a possible grid penalty. So, yeah, let's take advantage, and hopefully this time we can get our first proper points finish in a normal race, Miami chaos aside.
Welcome once again to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari. The clue's in the name. This is very much Ferrari home turf, and the locals will be out in force today to support their team in what we hope will be a magnificent spectacle of motorsport. On then to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. 3.1 miles of track at Imola featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula One tracks as it's taken anti-clockwise. Let's hope nobody forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight on the circuit and its only DRS zone. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Russell, Verstappen, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Martinez, Norris, Ocon, Stroll, Joe, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Albon, Sargent, and Nick de Vries. And now it's time to head down to the track.
For the first time this season, we start inside the top 10 as we qualified in 9th place, just ahead of Lando Norris. So we actually out-qualified our teammate, albeit Lando didn't really get a proper lap in Q3. As for us, I wasn't really happy with the qualifying performance. Funny enough, I felt like I actually lost the car a bit in terms of the feeling. I had a good setup in practice. I went a bit lower on the wing for qualifying, and it kind of backfired. So I can't really get that back now as we're locked into Parc Fermé. So the best we can do is balance the car out and try and find a kind of sweet spot or common ground. So yeah, in practice I ran a bit more wing, so the car was fantastic in the corners, but we probably lacked a little bit in the straight, which isn't ideal. Anyway, I think I went a bit too low on the wing, which is the kind of issue here. So for this race, we're going to go for the one stop, medium to hard. Very simple. We struggle on the hard tyre, so I'm not going to start on that tyre. And we'll see if we can stay competitive on this strategy. Fuel-wise, for the first time, I'm going to underfuel, so 0.5 under. Fuel consumption was very low in practice, and we tend to have a pretty fuel-efficient car, so I'm going to start to really push the limits now and see what we can do in terms of fuel economy. As for the setup, so I'm going to make these adjustments right now. I was running 34.30 in qualifying, so I'm going to go 33.30 for the race. Diff, I'm going to reset that back to dry conditions, and I'm also going to move the brake bias back to 58 as that felt fine in the dry. I'm actually going to also reset tyre pressures to what they were as well. So we'll see what happens. I've basically reset the setup to qualify mode, and I'm just basically hoping it feels better in race trim. Either way, guys, leave a like on the video if you're enjoying up until this point. Subscribe to the channel for more daily F1 content, and let's get into the race. As always, prediction down below. Where do you think we'll finish? Can we make it 2 points finishes in a row, or will we struggle and will we go backwards? Here we go. Let's get to it. Get the rev sorted out. Away we go. Alonso on a hard tyre. We're going to get Gasly as well. Really good start. We'll hold the inside line as there's contact. We are 3 wide. We'll take the inside line though and lock in that P7. Not out of the trouble yet though, as Pierre fights back. Doesn't commit to the outside, so we'll move back across. And that is a really good start. All the cars ahead are realistically faster, so there's not a lot of point in trying to challenge right now. Key thing would be to somehow try and keep up and hold the DRS. Pierre looking for a move there. Had to turn a little bit earlier just to make sure he wouldn't challenge. But let's see what kind of pace we have. Do we have a bit better race pace? Can we compete around here? We know we're strong in Sector 3, mainly because of the chicane. I'm just able to basically launch the car over the curbs and make it work compared to the AI, and also get some good traction on the exit. So we're going to work hard, use a big chunk of the battery to try and keep up, and hopefully this is now the true test of the setup to see if we're going to be strong or not in terms of straight line speed and ERS management. So let's see what the gap is at the end of the pit straight here using the batteries. You can see we're getting dropped quite easily. At VMAX though, we're holding our own, so that's a good sign. Right, Alonso Gasly battling away as well, that's going to really help. Shame Lando couldn't follow us through on the start there, but we've got a gap now, which is great. Well, this is a good sign. I've managed to just about keep up here, using a lot of battery, but we're there.
Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Just need to make sure we're within a second. Yellow flag. Signs off, so the AI still having issues in terms of behaviour.
Okay, clear.
In the first chicane. Big battle ahead as well. This could be a race of survival, much like an F122 to be fair. But the DRS will become a factor next time around. Land up to P8 now. Okay, so we've got DRS, which is the main thing. No damage to the cars ahead, so those involved in that possible signs incident have no damage. More battles ahead. Alonso keeping up, decent pace. Early signs, fuel could be an issue. So the one time I take a chance, it seems like consumption is a bit marginal, so we're going to have to try and be careful. Okay, we don't have DRS. Just dropped beyond a second at the crucial point. And I'm out of battery now as well. Fuel's not going up or down, so I'm just going to have to try and manage it a little bit. Things will happen. The 4 cars ahead will battle at some point and they'll probably lose time. Alonso with DRS. Then we're going to fight this one. We'll try and sit behind him, might be a decent car to follow. So I can try and save a little bit of fuel behind him as well. This is still, you know, if we can finish P6 and hopefully Lando P7, or me P7, Lando P6, in either way, but that would be maximising the possible result as we're battling Aston Martin this race. Similar to be fair, the last one, up until it all went crazy. I'm not going to get DRS on Alonso here. Just not close enough. And I'm just not able to save fuel or charge batteries. At the minute, I just can't afford to really let up. But Lando, to be fair, might get close here. They're still battling ahead. Both Red Bulls and Mercedes have broken up into 2 separate packs. But we'll let Lando crack on. We're a team here, so we're going to try and work together. Stroll's 3.5 behind. So we'll try and keep it that way. First warning. Got to be careful. It can happen quite easily around here. So like usual, it seems like the pattern is repeating. So our pace improves as the tyre wear kicks in. 3 laps to go. I was struggling to hang on to Alonso, and now I'm keeping up with Lando pretty nicely. And he's keeping up with Alonso perfectly without DRS. So we're doing okay. We're pulling away from Stroll, and I'm actually saving a bit of fuel now. So that's also a bit of a sign that we're finding it a bit easier to manage the fuel a bit. So things are looking a bit better. I'm managing the ERS as well with the little bit we have. So I'm happy with this so far.
Green flag, we're racing again, let's go.
Yellow behind. This could trigger safety car.
Information on Ocon. Okay, they're out of this race.
Our mate Esteban Ocon out of the race. That's good news in terms of the constructors and the battle versus Alpine. I was just about to say, it feels like the pace has just picked up a level. Lando and Alonso are getting a move on now. Alonso 2 seconds clear of Lando, and I'm not really gaining on Norris like I was before. So things are starting to move.
We're going to box this lap and push hard on the in-lap.
Okay, we'll stick to that. We won't ruin the race. Lando will probably pit next lap. Well then, we're going to box this lap. I'm not sure. I don't think Lando will pit. Usually they pit the lap after you do. So he'll now push on. Not trying to undercut my teammate, just trying to stay ahead of Stroll and stick with Alonso really. Alonso now will stay out for a couple of laps on that hard tyre, so he may struggle for pace. This may give us a chance to get back into the race a little bit. So Let's see, this is going to be a pretty key phase. Got to try and work with Lando to close in on Fernando. Excellent stop. Best crew in the business. And that will go a long way to help us out. Right, tyres will be cold. Should take about a second to get them warmed up. And we're going to feed down a nice bit of clean air just behind Nick De Vries here. So this is great. Although we've got signs in the fight back, to be fair.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
So we'll fall in line behind the Ferrari instead. Oh, the grip is lovely. Right, let's see if we can make a hard tyre work. So Lando's in for a stop. I've now got DRS on Sainz, who is on a pretty used medium. I think it's 12 laps old. I just asked midway through that lap. So we'll see if we can keep up with him. I feel like he's still a bit quicker than us in that first sector, which is where I lose a lot of time. So a good car to follow and save a bit of the battery. Alonso is still staying out, so this will be a crucial phase. Again, we'll try and work with Lando to get the pace working. The undercut, you can see, very powerful as we leapfrog our teammate. For now, but we'll see how the dominoes fall in place. Sainz is super slow. We're going to try and pass him. Lando's also giving me the hurry up. So here we go. Up the inside. Clean move. Sainz should be pitting soon, to be fair. We'll get the DRS. Alonso's in the pit lane, so here we go. He's currently at pit exit on the medium, and there he is.
Yellow flag.
Yellow into one. Giving Lando the squeeze there. Not totally fair, but Perez was the one involved in that incident. Alonso does just stay ahead on the medium, pitting a bit earlier than I expected. So right now Alonso has DRS on Checo, which could well continue, to be fair. We'll see if Checo maybe has some damage. I don't think he has. Seems to have got himself back on the pace quite nicely. And right now I'm also keeping up with Fernando quite nicely. So the car working well. Stroll in the pit lane. So that's both Aston Martins now done with their strategy. Lando closing in here rapidly. I'm going to let him go because he's going to keep pressuring me. Clearly I'm lacking a bit of straight line speed. I want to sit behind, try and get the battery charged a little bit, and also crucially try and get this fuel on target before we start to, battle with Alonso. The minute Alonso loses DRS on Checo, that will be our race to fight then. And we've got Lando and myself, both cars in play in the mix here. So we've got what we want. We just got to try and play our cards right now. Here we go. Lando putting the move on Alonso, who hasn't got that medium firing just yet. The hard tyre seems like a great tyre, to be fair. Lando makes it look easy, and he's cooking on this hard tyre early on. Let's try and stick with the program, put Alonso in a McLaren sandwich. It's kind of weird how the hard tyre actually feels great around here for the first time this season. But I've got some great pace and consistency on this tyre, whereas we've always struggled with this compound. This is exciting. I think we can definitely do a number on Alonso here. Feels nearly back on target. Only thing is I'm not really able to save battery. The ideal scenario now is sitting behind Lando and then Alonso having basically a McLaren double block to try and break down, which won't happen. And eventually we'll get the tyre advantage as his mediums start to fade. Right, Alonso flirting with losing DRS on Lando. I'm getting way closer. Alonso's slower on this tyre compared to the hard compound tyre, which is very surprising. I'm going to look to pass him now though. Got the fuel on target, so we'll look to pass and leapfrog, and hopefully then just sit in Lando's DRS. So here we go, we're going to use all the battery we've got. Not a lot, but it's enough. Alonso doesn't have DRS, so now we'll get the battery on, pull to the inside, and make the move for P7. And this is pretty much the best case scenario for us as a team this race. So let's bring it home. These are some great points for us. Really good chicane. Might have just dropped Alonso out of DRS range in the process. I think I've just done enough there, and I've also got myself within Lando's at the same time, so that was a very efficient bit of driving racecraft there, but that was a big mistake. That almost cost us all the hard work. But yeah, Alonso doesn't have DRS, we're pulling away. Lovely. Right then, there we go. We've now settled behind Lando. closing in quite a lot here. So we can now safeguard the fuel. Try and recharge the battery a bit. And we'll see if we can maybe pass him. But we're going to have to get a lot of battery on side to give that possibility a chance of happening. Second warning. Got to be careful now. 7 laps to go. This is just one of them nice boring races where this is exactly what we need. Lando is pulling me along beautifully at the right pace. I'm able to not use battery as well, which is perfect. And we're pulling away from Alonso gradually, so we've got that overtake time to perfection. Perez isn't a million miles faster, and neither other cars had for that matter, but just lacking a little something. But you can tell that the car's improving, and we're on our way. Also, I'm improving as a driver. Still using the baseline setups, haven't been able to find decent time trial setups, but I'm just able to extract more out of the cars. I do more races and get better at this game, so yeah, I'm encouraged. Things are looking up quite a lot at the moment, and I'm happy to bring this one home, to be honest. So fuel's no longer a concern, although I feel like Lando is just picking up the pace a little bit. Alonso is definitely picking up that pace, similar to Aston when we was in the medium, and we had better pace than Alonso at the end. The same pattern is repeating, so Alonso is actually catching back up here. So yeah, we're just going to probably look to lock this in. I can't quite get close enough to Lando through the second half of the lap to challenge in the pit straight, so we'll just look to secure this result, which is still a great points haul. Pretty much the best we can do right now. Only just managed to hold on to Lando's DRS there and also drop Fernando at the same time, who was within a second. We nailed that chicane complex, so that will take the pressure off. That would have been Alonso's last chance to get by, and we've managed to keep it under control. Then we go through the chicane one last time. To be fair, Lando didn't actually push that much in the last lap. I wonder if he used his battery a bit earlier. Yeah, he's flashing, so he's out. Charles Leclerc, though, wins on home soil. Comfortable race for him, and for us it's going to be the best we can do for points right now. P6, P7, beating the Aston Martins.
Okay, there's been an incident on track resulting in... And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And that's it then for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. And what a sensational victory they've managed to pull off here. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
Right then, there we go. Results in Charles Leclerc, comfortable home race victory. Verstappen second and Russell third. When I mean Leclerc home race victory, I mean Ferrari, of course. Hamilton P4, Perez P5 after that incident earlier on, and for us P6, P7, the best we could do, to be honest. Both cars in Q3, both cars best of the rest, ahead of both Aston Martins, which is pretty much the battle we're in right now, because that was the case in Miami as well. Bottas scores the final point, Magnussen misses out, Sainz fastest lap, and confirmation at the bottom, Esteban Ocon out of the race. And no points for Alpine today, which is great news for the championship, because if we have a look, drivers, we're still 2 points ahead of Lando, P8, P9, very decent, and we pull away from Gasly, which is awesome. Constructors, fourth, and we actually are now 2 points ahead of Aston Martin, so we overtake them after that points finish. So forget Alpine, let's look at Aston Martin right now, because we are cooking. So guys, top four in the Constructors, what a turnaround these last couple of races. We've started to get some points, get our act together, and now we're cooking. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed that race. It wasn't as action packed as mine, but still a lot of fun and just fun to drive and be much more on the pace with our teammate. So leave a like on the episode, subscribe for more daily F1 content on my channel, guys, as I'm trying to reach that 100k goal at the end of the year. As always, a big shout out to the members for supporting the content, and finally check out the 2 videos on screen right now with more F1 23 content. But guys, cheers for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Take care, and that's goodbye from me.